Hello. Goddamn, it's been for fucking ever. I have not had any sort of motivation or desire to make YouTube videos in a very long time. I've still been active on Snapchat and TikTok though, so if y'all haven't followed me over there and you want to keep up with me, Snapchat is Dickle Tickle and TikTok is also Dickle Tickle, so super easy to find me. Instagram is Pantsy Fancy, Pantsy Fantsy. Yeah, so anyways, hi. I'm just making another life update. Hey, can you not make all these licking noises? I have been on quite a fucking journey. A healing journey, a finding myself journey, just lots of perspective shifting, and I hope my tits aren't too distracting. Had to make sure my nipples were lined up. Are they even? I think they're even. Sometimes they get all cattywampus, so you know. But yeah, I just wanted to lure you in with my boobs. These are the only types of shirts that I like wearing these days because, well, let's start with update number 1. I got my autism diagnosis. I'm autistic. I finally know why I have felt like an outsider my entire life and have felt so different. I also have ADHD, so that's a really fun combination of the back and forth of the rigidity and routine seeking of my autism and my need for spontaneity and change of my ADHD. They are fighting each other all of the time. There is a tornado of chaos in my head every fucking second of the day. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I do want to talk about my autism diagnosis and tell you more about the things that I've discovered are related to my autism that I just had no idea. So that's definitely going to be a big section of this video. I'm going to talk about my relationship status with Alec. I'm going to talk about my employment and just general things that have been going on in my fucking life, okay? Because, man, it's been a fucking roller coaster. So I'm going to start off with the autism since we've already fucking touched on that. It has been so helpful to know what it is that is different about my brain, okay? So I got the diagnosis. I've been retroactively like examining my entire life and every interaction that I've ever had that I can remember and been realizing, oh, that was the tism. So it's like, I know that there wasn't a lot of information surrounding non assigned male at birth people, you know, during the time that I was a child, as it relates to autism. Because my mom, she said that she thought that Jonathan, my younger brother that passed away, she said that she thought he was autistic, which makes so much sense as to why we got along so well. Like we clicked so fucking well. We understood the weird little nuances. We had the same sense of humor, which I'm finding is a more neurodivergent sense of humor because my neurotypical boyfriend, yes, I am back with Alec. I will touch on that. Don't worry. But here's the timestamp for when I start talking about that. If that's all you care about, here's where I talk about my relationship with Alec. He is so neurotypical and like his brain is so different than my fucking brain. And so I'll like ask him questions. I'm like, do you do this? Do you think about this? Do blah, blah, blah? And his answers are usually no. But then like I've found the neurodivergent community on fucking TikTok, man. The reason that I ever questioned, you know, and like seriously pursued a diagnosis in autism was because of fucking TikTok. Like if you go to my TikTok page, one of the first few videos on there, like I have some videos like introducing myself, and then I have, my tits are distracting me. And then I have a video where I'm like, I keep getting all sorts of ADHD videos and I like relate to them very hard. So like, do I have ADHD? Which then took me to autism TikTok and I was like, oh shit, I relate to all this. And I kind of had an inkling, like for a couple of years, I'd been like, maybe I'm on the spectrum. I don't know, but I never like looked into it more. I was just like, I don't know, maybe I am. But after finding like that goddamn algorithm, that algorithm is so specific. So I discovered, you know, the autism and the ADHD through that, which, oh my God, I love there are videos where I'll come across where people are like, what people think that self-diagnosis with autism is like, and they'll show the person just being like, oh, I saw this one video on TikTok talking about autism and I relate to it. I have autism, ha ha ha. And then the reality, which is, oh, I relate to this. Why do I relate to this? Takes all sorts of online tests and does hella fucking research, becomes obsessive about learning about autism and finding all the different traits, makes a list of all the things that you identify with, like from the DSM-5 and other resources, and then like talking to your family and friends and being like, it's like, that's exactly how it fucking is. So let me start with why I wear these fucking shirts all the time. So I have, ever since I discovered that I'm autistic, and I've been going through the process of like unmasking, because I automatically mask to try to appear neurotypical, which is so fucking exhausting. It is so fucking exhausting trying to pretend like I'm a regular fucking person. So I just don't. And it's become very difficult for me to interact with people. But anyways, so through the unmasking, a lot of my autistic traits have started to show up in kind of a big fucking way. I have had several shutdowns or meltdowns. I'm still learning the difference between shutdowns versus meltdowns, but I've had several of those. Due to like sensory overload. I have earplugs now. I bought these little earbuds from Flare Audio, which didn't really help that much, but then I discovered this company called Eargasm, and those are the earplugs that I've gone with. You can't see them when I put them in my ears. I have to wear them whenever I go to the grocery store, if we go to the bar, which we occasionally go to Brick House. I'm triple vaxxed, he's regular vaxxed. Oh, I caught COVID. We got COVID. Stick a pin in that for later. I fucking, after 2 years, got COVID and it wasn't my fault. It was fucking Alec's coworker's fault. But I'm really glad that I was vaccinated because it lasted for a week and it was one of the worst experiences of my fucking life. And if I hadn't been vaccinated, I probably would have had very, 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 very bad issues. Anyways, what was I talking about? Yes. So I'm very sensitive to sound. Like I can hear the smallest sound and like it will just grate at my fucking brain. And so not only do I have to wear my earplugs when I'm like out in public doing things to avoid just getting overwhelmed and like, you know, shutting down, I've started wearing them to sleep. I can't sleep without them now because specifically what's been going on for the last couple days is it's getting warmer. And so we have the regular fan on, but then we have the overhead fan on and it has a clicking sound that happens, which apparently doesn't bother Alec at all, but it bothers the fuck out of me. So I have to wear earplugs so that I don't hear that. Also, so I don't hear anything going on outside of the apartment, which would make me, you know, irritated because I can't separate. Like I have the issue, if you've watched The Office, if you're an Office fan like I am, like that's one of my special interests. That is my comfort show, The Office. I've watched it through so many fucking times. I'm on another watch through right now. I'm almost at the end again. Anyways, there's a character on there named Nate, and he has this explanation of his hearing, which is exactly what my hearing is, where he goes, I don't technically have a hearing problem. It's just that I can't separate the noise, you know, when there's more noises going, when there's a bunch of noises at once, I can't separate them out. So it all sounds like one big jumble. So again, it's not that I can't hear, it's just that I'm like, wow, I relate to Nate so hard with that. So yeah, I can't separate out the fucking noises and it creates issues, especially if I'm trying to like pay attention to something and there's like even the slightest noise. It's like, just, I fucking can't. So I have to wear my fucking earplugs. I wear them to sleep. If there are noises that are happening while I'm just hanging out, I'm just like, all right, fucking earplugs if I can tell that it's starting to grate at me. So I've learned I've learned the signs of when I'm gonna like go into a shutdown. I'm just gonna refer to it as a shutdown because that's what I think it is. I actually learned because of a person that I was briefly dating while Alec and I were broken up, and then we were like in an open relationship situation, and then I had a whole mental breakdown about that and stopped seeing the other person. But the other person, we would go and like they delivered for Uber Eats, and so I would ride with them in the car. They also have ADHD and autism. But they have very severe ADHD symptoms where while they are driving, they're like texting on their phone and like smoking weed and doing all sorts of things. They've been in several accidents, and like their driving just like set me on edge. So I was stressed from the driving, and then the first shutdown that I had where I was like, oh, this is a fucking shutdown, was we were driving and then Avril Lavigne came on in the fucking car, and just the pitch of her voice, I was like, oh God. And so I pulled out my earplugs and I put those in, but it had already started snowballing at that point. And then I started getting very irritated. So like if I start to get really irritated for no fucking reason, it's a good sign that I have some sort of overstimulation happening. And the fix for it is I usually go nonverbal, which I have the ability to speak. I could speak, but the problem is I have to force the words out, and it's almost painful. So when I'm in that, I go nonverbal, and I would prefer to text or just to like kind of motion with my hands or just fucking not interact at all. But like, so in the car, I put my hood up and I like went and laid down in my lap and was like just trying to breathe and whatever. And I had to come home and be in complete silence and pitch black in my room, and just like, it took me a couple days to recover from that fucking shutdown. And then like when I was driving home, the lights from the oncoming traffic, like once I'm in that zone, all of my senses are super fucking heightened. And so like that was triggered because of the driving and the noise. But then, you know, when I was driving home, lights started to fucking bother me, and just generally everything. And they had gotten me this thing to hang from my rearview mirror that had some bells on it. The bells were going. I had to hold on to the bells so that they wouldn't ring, because that was fucking driving me fucking insane. So yeah, I've had a few of those, but I'm starting to learn the signs so that I can try to avoid those as much as possible. I have touch sensory issues big time, and specifically with anything touching my neck right here. So I have 3 of these specific tops. So I have this one in purple, I have a light blue one, and I have like a maroon one. And this is what I wear a majority of the time. It gives me pressure, so it makes me feel very comfortable, because I need the pressure. I have a weighted blanket now as well, which helps me sleep. But more specifically, it doesn't touch my neck at all. So like if I wear a fucking t-shirt, I'm constantly like pulling at the collar and trying to get it away from my fucking neck, because it just like, I don't know why, but it just feels like I'm being strangled or something. And so I'm like, I can't stand it. And like, if I'm wearing a t-shirt and just laying in bed and like it's bothering me, I'll just like take my fucking shirt off and just sit there tits out and just be like, this is so much fucking better. Oh my God. So yeah, that's a huge sensory issue for me, is my fucking neck. So these types of things are very, very comfortable. Maybe that's also why I like wearing super tight leggings and stuff. Cause like, I'm gonna stand up and show you my outfit right now. Okay. I'm in leggings. Okay. Crop top and leggings. That's what I primarily wear. I have my high-waisted office ladies pants as well that I like to wear with these, but the majority of the time I'm in crop tops and like legging stuff. So I really like pressure. But yeah, so it's just been really interesting to like look back at my life and analyze these interactions and be like, oh my God, like I thought that was totally regular and it was the fucking tism. Like for example, the pizza place that Alec and I met at, I was a manager there, and I thought I had a jokey rapport with the fucking GM of that store. Like he would come in, say something, and I would like make a funny little remark. And I thought that we were having like a good back and forth. But one day we had an exchange where he said something and I made a remark that I would normally make because it was like a jokey back and forth. And he said, come outside with me real quick. And I was like, okay. And while we were out there, he was like, what is your problem? Do you have a problem with me? And I was like, what? Like, genuinely taken aback, had no idea that we had any issues at all. And like I said, I thought we had the jokey rapport, but apparently he just thought I was a fucking bitch and being insubordinate. And I was like, Paul, I had no idea that we had a fucking issue. Like, I had to have a sit down with him and like the people that are above him and everything, like that run all of the stores. Like, we set up a time to go to a restaurant and talk about the fucking issues. And I'm like, I didn't know that we fucking had issues. I thought that we were having a good time and joking around. Was not the fucking case. I also remembered an instance there as well where I think I was overstimulated and I snapped at our dishwasher, Ryan. Because we called him Dishpacito because he would always sing Despacito over and over and over. And it was in the middle of like a busy Friday or Saturday night. And like, there was so much fucking going on. There were so many pizzas coming out and just people going in and out of the kitchen. He wouldn't stop fucking singing. And at one point I just turned around and I said, Dishpacito, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Like, a manager, screamed at an employee who like was a child. I think he was like 19 or 20. I don't know. But like, you know, I was 24. No, I was 25 or 26. I just fucking yelled at him to shut the fuck up in the middle of a shift in front of fucking everybody. And I'm looking back at that now and being like, oh, I was overstimulated. And that's that irritability that then I blew up at this fucking kid. And yeah, it's just so crazy to look back at all these fucking times where I had interactions where I thought that I was being totally fucking normal and I didn't understand why I was left out of things or why people had issues with me. Oh, I have consistently had issues with my bosses. Like, I haven't been in too much trouble because I generally am a very good worker because of the routine-oriented nature of the TISM. Okay, I can focus on stuff and I'm very good at taking a process and making it the most efficient and like being very good at it, and I can do stuff the same way over and over and over again. So like, my work is essentially flawless. It just is, okay? Like, I see my brain as an absolute fucking win, okay? I may have some sensory issues and stuff, but I'm very smart and I can pick up on all these little fucking things and make connections and make things more efficient than people who don't have a brain like mine. So I'm very thankful to be the way that I am. But it also is kind of a curse because like, I'm looking at these people who just don't see the world the same way that I do and can't make all of these little connections, and they're inconsiderate and just, you know, selfish. And I'm like, how are you like that? You can't see all of these things that are happening. Anyways, that's a whole nother fucking thing. But yeah, back to what I was saying, the bosses. I, because of the TISM, don't recognize hierarchy. Like, that's social hierarchy makes no fucking sense to me. Why would somebody be better than me or vice versa because they have manager or CEO in their fucking title and I don't? Like, I have run into several issues because I've just spoken to my bosses like they're regular fucking people, because they are. I don't care if you're my manager. I'm gonna tell you when you're doing something wrong. Like, if you're breaking the law or doing something that's blatantly like not fucking okay, I'm gonna bring it up to you and question the things. So yeah, it's definitely been a fucking journey, but I have stopped having the identity crises that I would have all the time, because I'm sure I have videos on my channel where I'm just like, you know, I need to find myself. I don't know who I am. And that comes a lot from having to mask my entire life. Like, I legitimately didn't know what my own personality was, because I had so many different tailored masks for whoever I was interacting with, just to have to be safe, to be perceived as normal, and for people to not shun me and stuff, and to just function. So, you know, a lot of the issues with mine and Alec's relationship, because I broke up with him, I think 3 separate fucking times, and we had issues on and off, because I was constantly like, you know, I don't know who I am. I think I'm attracted to women. I think I'm attracted to this. I think this is what I want, which, by the way, I am non-binary. I discovered that as well through this whole process. So I use they, them pronouns now. And I am pansexual. I don't identify as bisexual anymore. I'm pansexual. So there's not too much of a difference between those 2 labels, but I prefer the pansexual label for myself now. But yeah, so I've stopped having the identity crises, because I recognize that it's just the masks that I've constructed. And so I've started to listen to my instincts more, and I'm trying to be more vocal about my needs and like setting boundaries and stuff. And it's been working out pretty well, and I'm much happier. I haven't been depressed in a very long time. And yeah, I don't know, it's been very helpful to me. School is on hold for now, because I think the last video I put up on here was talking about how I started going to school for psychology, but since I quit my job, the job that I quit after a week of being there, I haven't been employed since. So we're in May right now, and that was in September. So for the better part of a year, I've been unemployed. I have been lucky and privileged to be able to still pay rent and everything, because when, I don't know if I've talked about this on here, but when Jonathan died, his life insurance or whatever my parents had on him gave me and my other brother each like $2,000, which my uncle is a land developer, so he sold us each a couple of notes for some plots of land which people live on and, you know, pay us for. And that money grew, and then I purchased more notes, and I ended up liquidating all of those against my parents' wishes. It's my fucking money, but my mom was like, oh my God, my parents are so in the fucking like capitalistic fucking mindset. And they're like, well, if you leave it alone, and, you know, by the time you're in your 60s and stuff, you can retire, because yeah, it'll be like $50,000 now. It's $47,000 is what I got. So I'm able to live until okay, I'll get to that. Anyways, but when I asked my mom, you know, how much would I get if I liquidated this, she like constantly, she kept trying to talk me fucking out of it and guilt trip me into like not doing it. And she was like, and you need to be productive. And I was like, Mom, the point of living is not to be productive. And I need this money because I cannot work right now, because if I have to continue to work for these fucking poverty wages and just work my fucking life away, I don't want to be on this planet anymore. So if you would like for me to continue to be around, I need to liquidate this fucking shit so that I can get this money so that I can fix my mental health. All right, and figure out what's going on, because the system that we're living in right now does not fucking work, and it needs to fucking come down. All right. But still, every step of the way, she was like guilt tripping me, and I would just not respond to her guilt trip. She'd be like, you know, it makes me really sad that you would do this, because in you know 30 or so more years it would be worth twice that amount. I'm like, yeah, and the amount of money that I'd be getting right now is going to be really helpful for me. So let's continue to do this. And apparently she took out a loan so that she could purchase the notes from me instead of selling it the normal way, which is not something that I asked her to do. So I assume what she's doing is she bought them herself so that she can keep them, so that whenever they die, they can pass that money on to me, which great, do whatever you fucking want with that. But like, you're not going to guilt trip me, because I did not fucking ask you to do that. All right. She was like, well, I'm still waiting on the loan for this and blah, blah, blah. And like I could tell that she was fishing for me to be like, oh, well, you're going through so much trouble. Just don't even worry about it. Because I was supposed to have this money by fucking December. And she dragged her fucking heels all the way until I almost ran out of the money that I had gotten from withdrawing my like 401k from the companies that I quit. So I didn't get that money until fucking February. But it has just been such a weight off my fucking shoulders to not have to like constantly worry about being able to fucking pay rent and hating my fucking job. Like, I cannot deal with people anymore. When I go back to work, I it can't be in a customer service type of thing. I cannot deal with people anymore. I can't even deal with working from an office anymore. I need a work from home situation. So that brings me to my next point. In June, I'm starting a program with Merit America to train in data analysis. So I can be a data analyst so that I can work from home, work from anywhere, and make a decent fucking living. So yeah, that's what I've been up to for a little bit. I did the pre-work for that, passed it, and now I've just been waiting because that was like back in fucking February that I did all that, and the course starts June 6th. So yeah, I'll be doing that, and I can't fucking wait to just, I don't know, not have to deal with fucking people anymore. I'm super excited about all these like unions that I'm seeing forming. Like Starbucks got a fucking union, Amazon got a fucking union, and like a couple of like specific places, and you know, more and more people, the workers are fighting back. We're not fucking settling for these fucking poverty wages anymore. We've been fighting for $15 an hour for so long that $15 an hour is no longer a livable wage. Like $26 an hour should be what the minimum wage is. Also, I saw something else where like some state is passing legislation to ban roommate situations. So you know how we can't afford to fucking live anywhere, so we'll live with like 5 other fucking people so that we can all fucking afford rent. They're passing something where like the household has to be like related to each other. So like a married couple and their kids or something. It can't just be a bunch of fucking friends living together. Oh my God, I fucking hate this oh my God, capitalism needs to fucking go. And I mean, we're not even really capitalism. We're an oligarchy. We're everything is controlled by these few fucking billionaires. And I fucking can't stand whenever people try to say, oh, well, billionaires' money is like, it's not liquid, like it's all tied up. It's like, oh really? Because Jeff Bezos went to space for fun, got his own rocket ship and just went to fucking space, also has a super fucking mega yacht that he got built. How is that not liquid money? He can do things with the money. Elon just bought fucking Twitter for $44 billion. Do you know that you could solve world hunger with $44 billion? But no, you're just gonna buy fucking Twitter. I have a lot of feelings. Oh, that's another part of my autism, the strong sense of like the need for justice. I always get very upset when people do not follow rules, especially rules that like affect other people. Like one of the hills that I will fucking die on is people who don't put their dogs on a fucking leash. There is a person who lives in my fucking building who has a pit bull, which it's fine. Okay. I like pit bulls. I think they get a bad rap. All right. This pit bull is perfectly fine. They're nice, but they let them out of the apartment. They don't go with them. The dog just roams around the fucking apartment complex. So it's shitting all over the place and not getting picked up after. It will approach us. And Odin does not do well with big dogs. And he does not do well when dogs or people are approaching us, especially if the dog is off leash while he's on leash. So luckily I can pick him up, but like, people need to put their fucking dogs on leash. It's the law. It's for safety. It's all that. I get very impassioned about that. So yeah, my sense for justice is tied to my autism in a very big way. And I have, if I had the money, which I'm trying to figure out how to manifest this into reality, to get land, to get stuff, because since our government will not do anything about helping people experiencing homelessness, I want to buy some land and get 30 to 40 tiny homes, full electricity, utilities, internet, that is a fucking utility, okay, food, I want to partner with like different doctors and therapists, the DMV and stuff, so that we can get them the care that they need, provide them with food, shelter, therapy, physical health care, like get them the documents that they need, because if they're living in these tiny homes, one of the hurdles is not being able to have a fucking address to get an ID to be able to do anything. So they'll have an address, we can get them their IDs. I want to partner with like educational programs so that we can get them, you know, into maybe a skilled trade, or even fucking try to figure out how to get them like an actual education from like a university, so that we can rehabilitate them and get them back into society instead of just shooing them out of the fucking cities. Like, it makes me so mad when people just look at these people who don't have anything. They don't have a place, they don't have stable jobs or healthcare. Not that any of us have stable fucking healthcare, but you know, people who are living on the fucking streets, they don't have fucking anything. And the solution that our fucking stupid ass country has is to just continue to shoo them out of each city, so that they're forced to go further and further away from the stuff that they need, so that other people like us who have fucking houses and shit, apartments, places to live, don't have to look at them and be scared of them and whatever. No, we need to fucking rehabilitate them and get them back into fucking society. Like, so I'm trying to figure all that out. But yeah, I feel very strongly about that. Every time I go to the grocery store, I get $20 cash back, so that I can just have $20 bills in my fucking wallet. So whenever I see somebody who needs help, I'm just like, here's fucking $20, go get some fucking food. Like, holy shit, man. So I'm doing what little I can while I'm trying to figure out the bigger picture. So if any of you have any resources, if any of you have any fucking land somewhere that you'd be willing to just like donate to this fucking cause, please let me fucking know. Reach out to me. I'll put an email in my description where you can help me with that. I know that where you can contact me about that. Sorry. I know that I can apply for like different government grants and stuff. I'm trying to figure out where to start on that, because like I feel very strongly about this. Like, I know that my purpose on this earth is to help people, and I feel very strongly that this is my fucking calling, to fucking be able to house people, because it's not okay what our government is doing. And don't even get me started on the Roe v. Wade shit that's happening. I have a gynecology appointment on Monday for a consultation to get an endometrial ablation, so that I don't have to have periods anymore and I can't fucking get pregnant. Because the way that this Handmaid's Tale shit is playing out, I'm not about to be a fucking birther. Absolutely not. Yeah. Oh, and obviously you can see that I shaved my head because I had a shorter haircut for a little while, but then the hair kept bothering me. That's another fucking thing. My hair kept bothering me whenever it would touch me with my sensory shit, and I hated the way it looked, and so I just decided to shave it off, and I love how I look with a shaved fucking head. Absolutely love it. Recently, over the last couple of months, I have been in the process of growing it out so I could see what it looked like at all the different stages of growing out, to determine whether or not I wanted to continue to shave my head. And it got to about here. It was like probably 1.5 inches long, and I hated the way it looked. I hated the way it felt. I didn't feel like my fucking self at all. It made me feel less and less like myself. And so I was like, I felt the need to shave my head. So I shaved it, and immediately was just like, oh my God, I feel so much more like myself. Like, this just makes me feel so hot. I don't know why, but it makes me feel hot. I also don't really wear makeup anymore. Like, I have the makeup, and whenever I was dating that other person for a little bit, like, they were very into makeup, and so we would do makeup together. But I kind of don't like the way that I look with makeup on. I've fallen in love with my natural face. I'm learning to love myself more, even with my ups and downs in like my body weight. I'm getting more into a mindset of, you know, loving myself exactly the way I am, taking care of myself. I've been in an exercise routine since like October, which is incredible. I started out just like crawling just crawling for 1 to 2 minutes. Because the thing with me and exercise is I fucking hate exercising, and it's hard to convince myself to start an exercise because I don't like to be uncomfortable. It's just really hard to put myself in that situation. And so I had seen something on TikTok about a guy who was doing a crawling challenge and he got like super ripped and stuff. And then another person talked about how, you know, if you struggle with exercising, you don't have to go to a gym. Like you could literally lay on the floor and like tense your muscles for 5 to 10 minutes or whatever. And that counts as exercise. You're doing something. So just do something. And so those two things combined in my head just like made something click. And so I was like, okay, I can do 1 minute of fucking exercise. I can force myself to do 1 fucking minute of exercise. So I started out crawling around on my floor for 1 minute, and that increased to 2 minutes. I tried to go to 3 minutes, but my attention span and like just, it felt like forever. And so I did that from October to like February. That was my main source of exercise. And I lost like 12 fucking pounds just doing that, not even changing my eating habits at all. And so seeing that kind of progress with like almost no fucking exercise, like 1 and 2 minutes a day of crawling around on the floor, that is what I did for exercise from October to February. And then I started feeling like I could do more. And so I started doing some body weight exercises. So I crawl around for like 1 minute to 2 minutes, and then I'll do like push-ups and different leg raises and planks and stuff so that I'm getting, you know, some sort of like muscle training. That has helped as well. I have like a little indent right here, you can see, where I've got like the beginnings, the very, very beginnings of where my abs are gonna fucking be. And so, and then for the past couple of months, I've been going on little 30-minute jogs, so 2-mile, 30-minute jogs around the neighborhood where my apartment complex is. And it was, you know, I was doing the body weight exercises, and then my ADHD is like, I need variety. This is getting boring. And it became really hard to convince myself to do that. And so then I was like, okay, you know what? I can just go out for a jog. So instead of doing the body weight exercises, I just started going out for a fucking jog, and it felt really good. And now the last couple of days, I've been combining those. So I do my body weight exercises, and then I go out for a jog, and then I come back and do my stretching and take my vitamins. I take vitamins now. I'm a 30-year-old fucking adult who takes vitamins. And I drink my protein shake and everything, which causes me to take a shower every day. My hygiene has improved fucking tenfold because, you know, my executive dysfunction has made it very hard for me to take a shower consistently. But since I'm consistently getting sweaty every single day, I don't like to be sweaty and stinky and gross. And so that makes me take a fucking shower. And then after I get out of the shower, I do my skincare and everything. And then I also moisturize my entire fucking body every single day. So like, I'm in a very good place mentally and physically. Like, I'm taking care of myself. It's really nice to not just be in a constant battle with myself. And I mean, I have thoughts in my head that are layered on top of each other 24 hours a fucking day. Oh, that's enough. Okay. My ADHD is going to just splice in my autism shit throughout this whole fucking thing. Part of having autism, you know, we script scenarios, and I didn't think that applied to me. I was like, I don't script things, but that also is another layer of my autism, of me taking things way too literally, because I'm not like writing out scripts in my head of how I'm going to interact with people. But what goes on in my head 99% of the time, all day, every day, is me imagining different situations and how I would react in those situations. And like, I just have pretend arguments most of the time in my fucking head. And I'm like, that is scripting. That is literally scripting. That's me preparing for being in this sort of interaction and what I would fucking say. And I have used the scripts that I have run through sometimes because I have been in those situations. Because another part of the autism is like really good pattern recognition. So I can tell usually when a certain thing is going to be talked about, and I know that, you know, stuff is heading in a certain sort of direction. And so I'll prepare for that. And I have used those fucking scripts that I have done in my head. and they have been successful. So yeah, I'm way more autistic than I ever fucking thought that I fucking was. Oh, I even have, let me get this, hold on. So if you know anything about like autism or ADHD or neurodivergence, you know that there's a need to like stim, and neurotypical people stim as well. It's just a way to like regulate your nervous system or something, or, you know, get energy out. I don't know the specific definition for stimming. All I know is I need to do it for certain things. And like I've always had, sometimes I'll just need to make a certain noise, or need to do like a certain fucking movement or like tap or whatever. There's always echolalia happening in my fucking head where I'm just repeating different phrases or songs or something over and over and over in my head. Like those are different types of stim. I got this thing which you can chew on, because one of the things that I struggle with is I have a need to chew. Chewing is a form of stimming to me. So, which leads to a lot of overeating, because especially with crunchy stuff, I love crunchy things. Oh my God, it's so satisfying. And so I eat very fast, and so I'll like overeat and stuff. And so this fulfills my like need to fucking chew, and it has this fucking poppy thing. So I've got this like really satisfying pop back and forth that I can do. And so I'll sit and just like be doing this, and it helps me fucking focus and concentrate. That's the same fucking thing. And it just occupies my mind in a way that I'm not constantly needing to snack, because I need this like sensation of biting down on something. So this has been extremely fucking helpful. Anyways, so let's talk about my relationship with Alec. So when we moved into this apartment back in August, we did so as not a couple. We were broken up. I broke up with him before we moved here, which is why we got a 2 fucking bedroom. And then, you know, while we were apart, good job. I was like, I need to be on my own and figure myself out, which is true. But then I got on a queer dating app, because I figured out part of what I need is like, I need somebody who understands me. I would prefer to date somebody who is also neurodivergent, whose neurodivergence complements mine, you know, because not everybody who's neurodivergent can fucking click together. We have different needs. But like, I wanted to date like a queer neurodivergent person, so that I would feel more fucking understood, because I always feel like I put in way more effort in relationships. I'm so much more like considerate than whoever I'm with all the fucking time, because I've apparently only dated neurotypical fucking people, and it's still something that I struggle with in my relationship with Alec. But anyways, I'll get to that. While we were broken up, I started to see this person, and you know, they're queer, neurodivergent, trans, and like we clicked so well. And like we literally like we would think the same things and say the same things out fucking loud. We went on like a little trip for New Year's, and we went to clink like a little glass together, because we were drinking something. It wasn't even alcohol, it was just like some little thing we were drinking, and at the same time we went bink. Like we literally made the same exact noise and word and did the same exact fucking thing, and we just like fell out fucking laughing. And like I had a great time with this person, but then it just, you know, everything got really overwhelming. So it was over Thanksgiving that I started seeing this person, and I was like house/pet sitting for somebody, because I was on Rover for a little bit. Now I don't want to be responsible for any life of anything besides my own fucking dog. I don't want to be responsible for somebody else's pet's life. Okay, it's just not something that I want to do. Nothing happened. I just had this like morbid fear in my head of like, well, what if the dog fucking died while they were gone and in my care, and then I got sued? Anyways, so I got on this app. I can't even remember what it was called, but it was a queer app, and I met this person, and you know, we started talking over Thanksgiving, and they actually came to the house that I was house sitting at. I got permission for people to come over, and we hooked up. But so Alec wanted to spend Thanksgiving with me, and so we were friends, and he came over to the house or whatever, and he stayed the night. And so like we slept in the same bed. We didn't do anything, we just slept in the same bed. And he saw that I was like texting this person, and he got so fucking upset, like so upset. We had a huge fucking like blowout the next day. Like he said all sorts of extremely hurtful stuff to me. which, you know, really didn't affect me, but like the things he said, I'm like, wow, that's showing your true fucking colors. But yeah, so he was really upset because he was holding on to us being together. And then, you know, I said that I broke up with him because I wanted to be on my own, and then I'm dating this person. So I understand where he's coming from, but also I had to explain to him that, you know, this is part of figuring myself out, is like my priorities and things are going to fucking change as I figure myself out more. And so my first priority was to be on my own. And then I figured out that I wanted to date somebody who was queer or neurodivergent. So I started doing that, and I have every right to fucking do that because I'm fucking single, right? So we ended up having like a huge fight about that. And then, you know, I've been practicing my like super honesty. Like I'm gonna fucking say exactly what I mean, which I've always said exactly what I mean, because that's also a part of my autism, is just the fucking directness. I don't understand why neurotypical people feel the need to like read between lines and like add in like this negative subtext to everything. I'm like, I'm telling you exactly what I mean. I'm choosing my words very specifically. There is no double meaning or subtext to this. I am telling you exactly what I'm meaning. So just take my words for my words. Like, that's what it is. Anyways, so we were talking, and then we came to the agreement where, like, you know, we could try to have an open relationship, because I still wanted to see this person, but we wanted to try our relationship again. And for a little while, it was just me seeing this other person, and he did not take that well at all. Like, he would always be super upset whenever I would go hang out with them, and then, you know, he didn't want to meet him at all, didn't want to ever like let him come to the apartment ever, and which, I mean, I understand. And then I encouraged him to, you know, seek out somebody for himself. And so he went on a couple of dates with this girl that his coworker is friends with, and it caused a huge issue with me. I have some major jealousy issues, and like, that was a really fucking bad time. And like, because my thoughts fucking spiral, and like, I can't shut my thoughts off, like, it was impossible for me to think about anything else. And then I was like just super upset. So he went on 2 dates with her, but then he stopped seeing her, and I stopped seeing the other person, and we eventually got back to being exclusive again. So we've been dating since the end of November again, but we've only been exclusive since like March, like around my birthday. I feel like we still have a little bit of trust issues, because we both will look over the other's shoulder and like look at the other person's phone, just to, you know, see who we're fucking talking to, which I only ever talk to fucking Vic or Jenna, and like, I'm never doing anything, and he hasn't been talking to anybody, and I never see anything sketchy like on his phone or anything. But, you know, we still have that fragility, and we have this thing where like, I was like, you know, I want us to be very honest and very communicative and like talk about our fucking needs with each other, because I don't want us to fall into the way that things used to be. And so I constantly have to fight that with him, because it feels like, you know, when we're broken up, he like all of a sudden becomes very attentive and wants to be with me, and says all these like nice things to me, and just like it seems like he really, really wants me and really loves me. But then as soon as we're back together, he gets into this, like, he just falls into this taking me for granted, and like, basically I have to like beg for his attention. So I'm still dealing with a little bit of that, but like now I'm calling him out on it. I'm like, hey, you know, you can't just treat me like a fucking afterthought. And so I don't know if we're gonna end up, you know, being together for a long time or forever or anything. I know this time that unless he does something that's blatantly like not okay, then I'm gonna just let him be the one to end the relationship. I'm not gonna break up with him for a 4th fucking time and like cause him all this fucking pain, and for him to go through his whole, oh, you just made me look like a fool and I knew this was gonna happen. Like, I'm not gonna do that again. If we break up, it's gonna be because he's gonna break up with me. But I am trying to make this relationship fucking work, because I do love him. I do enjoy being around him. We have lots of things in common. He has a lot of stuff that he needs to work on, but he has grown as a person over the course of these 4 years that we have known each other and you know, been in each other's lives. He's also going through a little bit of a crisis right now, where he is feeling like something's missing, and, you know, feeling like he's not where he always thought that he would be by the time he turned 30. And I mean, he just turned 33 now. So he's kind of going through a little bit, which has caused him to kind of snip at me and lash out at me a little bit. But I've called him on it, and we've been able to, you know, step back, and he's like, you know, apologized. And like, I know that the root of what's going on with him being like snippy at me or annoyed at me very easily when I'm just doing regular shit is because he's got his own shit going on inside of his head. So I'm trying to help him with that. But, you know, I'm just taking it one day at a fucking time, because I know if I break up with him, I'm going to go back into that mode of shit, did I make the right decision? And, you know, maybe one day when we're both financially independent and don't have to rely on each other for rent and stuff, and, you know, if we can't work our issues out, we'll probably go our fucking separate ways, and that'll be perfectly fine. But for now, yeah, we are back together. We're happy, and I'm not sitting by silently. Like, I'm not putting my needs second anymore. Like, I'm doing my part, and I'm being a good partner, and, you know, I'm making sure that I'm attuned to his needs and stuff. But if my needs are not being met, and, you know, I bring it up to him and I talk to him about it. And we've had a couple of issues where, like, he says that he understands and he'll, like, you know, change, and then he just continues to be back in the same pattern. So I have to constantly call him out for that. One of the things is, like, we got into a little bit of, not really an argument, but it was like, you know, I was telling him that I feel like he gets annoyed at me really easily, and it's not fair. And he still doesn't tell me whenever he's annoyed at me. I can just pick up on it, but then he's like just very short with me and won't tell me what I've done wrong or anything. And he responded, because this is over text, and he responded, he's like, well, then maybe we just shouldn't be together. And so I drew a boundary, and I said, hey, if you actually want to break up with me, that is the only time that you can respond with that in an argument, okay? Because you can't just say that every time we get into a fucking disagreement. Like, people are gonna have disagreements with each other. If you do that again, so if we get into an argument and his suggestion is, well, then maybe we should just break up, then I'm taking him at his fucking word that he wants to break up with me. But I have drawn that fucking line in the sand. I'm not letting him get away with his fucking bullshit and just, like, treat me any old way, because it just seems like he just gets into his own, he just thinks about himself. A big thing for me, you know, is this whole autism discovery. And if the tables were turned and he was discovering something about himself, I would take it upon myself to learn everything that I could about that, so that I could better communicate and relate to him. But he doesn't seem to, like, do that. Like, I'll send him different TikToks and stuff where I'm like, this is how I feel. I'm telling you exactly, like, this is conveying exactly what goes on inside of my head. Like, because sometimes I'm not able to put my thoughts into words. And I feel like sometimes he doesn't watch them, or he doesn't retain the information. He definitely doesn't go and do any sort of, like, research on his own to try to learn more about it and understand why I am the way I am, which would, you know, ease a lot of our communication differences. So, and I think that that's a neurotypical thing, is, like, to just not be considerate of another person and, like, want to learn everything you can to be able to make things as smooth as possible. Yeah, so we'll see where things go, but I just wanted to get on here and, you know, tell you guys that I'm still around. I'm doing much better. This has been quite a fucking journey. Oh, and I don't know if she'll see this, but Caitlin, if you see this, so I was in New Orleans this last week for Alec's birthday. We went to New Orleans, and Caitlin, who has been following me since my Tati videos, happened to be there at the same time. Me and Alec were walking down Bourbon Street. We had just gotten off the plane. Our luggage didn't make it with us. We didn't get it until the next fucking day. And so we were just like, fuck it, let's just go walk around. And all of a sudden this girl, she walks past me and then she stops and she freaks out and she's like, oh my god, you're the person, you're them, you're the person. And then like she finally got the words out that like she's one of my subscribers and she's followed me since the Tati days and she follows me on Instagram. Like as soon as she said her name, I automatically was like, I bet you it's this fucking person on Instagram, because she interacts with my posts all the time. But like Caitlin, if you see this, I just want to thank you for that interaction. I know that we've had like a separate conversation on Instagram and I've thanked you, but like literally you have no idea how amazing that was for me. Like that's, I have been recognized one other time by somebody, but it was like from TikTok for like a property management thing and it was a really weird interaction. But like that was genuinely the first time that somebody has been excited. Why am I getting emotional? Like genuinely excited to see me, because, you know, Jesus Christ, like my entire life, like I've said before, I always feel like I'm just like on the outside of things, and I've felt like, you know, the afterthought person. I'm the person who's like not included in original plans. Like I'm not the one that people are excited to fucking see. Like it's like, oh yeah, you're coming along, okay, that's cool, whatever. But like the genuine excitement that you showed for just like meeting me and like telling me how much like you really, oh my god, why am I crying? It meant a lot to me. It meant so fucking much to me. And I like I had a hard time sleeping that night because I just couldn't stop thinking about how happy that made me and how excited that I was that somebody was like actually excited to see me, because like I've tried to be as like genuine as possible on this fucking channel. So like if anybody met me in person, you know, you're not meeting a different fucking person, like you're meeting me. I'm trying to find my people. And it was so fucking nice to meet somebody who actually wanted to meet me, and it wasn't like a masked version of myself or anything. And we like took a picture together. And oh, and she just got engaged on that trip. It was fucking awesome. Like it was so random that we were just there at the same time. She was there on like a work training thing, and I was just there, and we just happened to fucking pass each other on the same fucking sidewalk on fucking Bourbon Street. And like it was one of the best experiences of my entire life. So sorry for the emotion of all of that, but thank you so much for that. I absolutely loved that. I will never forget that interaction. That will be one of my favorite memories of all fucking time. So yeah, if any of you happen to encounter me out in public, which probably won't happen very often because I'm rarely out in public, but if, absolutely please come say hi to me and everything. And 'cause I loved that. I loved that so fucking much. Yeah, so thank you. And you know, there are several of you who have stuck with me, and you know, we communicate on other platforms, and like I feel like we are friends even though we've never met. You know, there's a lot of back and forth. There's Lisa and Ashley and Brandon and Caitlin and just like quite a few other people, Sarah, that I talk to all the fucking time, and I love it. I love the little community that I have here, and thank you. Thank you. So there's my little fucking, however long. Right now it's an hour and a minute long, so I don't know how much I'm gonna edit out, but you know, if you made it this far into the video, fucking thank you. I'm doing great, and I'm happy to be here, and yeah, it's a good fucking time.